Hey friends, what's up? Cons here. Welcome back to another server amateur or bucket spigot plugin tour. If you're joining for the first time, feel free to hit the subscribe button because I do these every week. If you have a suggestion of one you'd like me to do, feel free to comment and Jibbles will. I will capture that, give you a shout out when I get around to it, like these people. This is Byte Skywars as made by Proxy Byte. So if you find this video helpful to get up and started with this plugin, please leave a like because that helps me out for helping you guys out. So let's get started. This one does require Vault, requires an economy, does require permissions, plugin, and it does require you to not run multiverse, and I believe this pretty much runs the entire server. It kind of takes over everything, so it's kind of meant to be on a bungee. So the first things first, you have to actually copy your arena over into the plugin folder and then load it from there. Once again, don't use multiverse. So we're going to jump over the config and show you guys how that will look. Here's our server. We are running 1.10.2. We're going to come on up into the plugins, and what we're actually going to do is we're going to use a world that we were using previously. Come over to plugins. We are not using multiverse, even though the folder is here, because I might still use it for other things. So we're going to jump into Byte Skywars, go into games, and we're going to paste our arena in there. So this is a null world with different things. This is for a different game mode, but it'll work for at least showcasing and show you guys how this works. So once that's loaded in there, we're going to jump back into the game and fire it up. So once we're back in the game, we're going to do SW load kingdoms. And there it goes. It starts creating the world for kingdoms and it's finished. So then we do SWTP kingdoms in order to get there. So once we are here, now we want to set beacons for where the spawns are going to be. Now I think there's already a few in this world. Now it's kind of key to keep the beacons up off of anything because there's actually going to be a glass cage created around it. And once we get all 4 of those created, we're going to do SW create. And then it's going to create the kingdom's world, or arena in the config. So whatever the name of the world is, that's going to be the name of the arena. And then we're going to do SW scan. This way it's going to figure out how many spawns to put and all that good stuff. And then we're going to do SWTP world to go back to the world. And now we need to set the global spawn. So we're going to do that right in front of this wall because it's going to be where our lobby wall is. So SW spawn. So once that's all done, we can then create a sign, but there's not much that's going to show up on it until we restart the server here. So SW kingdoms, name of the arena right there. So it says it created it. Now we have to actually restart the server here in order to get this going. All right, so once the server is off, we actually have to flip a few things over. So we need to open up our config here, and then we have to change build mode from true to false. Once that's false, we're going to start the server, and then it'll start running arenas. One thing to note, if you haven't set your global spawn, the plugin is actually going to fail to start. So let's go ahead and get back into it here. All right, so first things first, you're going to see that you have a few different things. You can actually join a game just from the GUI that's there, or you can open up the shop. You can select the cage color that you want. You can just select the kits. All the stuff is configured in the configuration, which we'll go over in a second. You can select different kinds of trails, and then you can jump in the game. So we're going to have our trusty sidekick here join in the game. Then you're going to see one in queue, and it's normal and it's solo. So the author actually has another plugin that's the same thing, only it adds a lot of more features like team mode and all that, which is really slick. So once there's 2 people in, you can actually change and vote on some different things. You can select your kit, or you can just exit back to the lobby. So we've voted for insane mode, so we're going to have Evil Doppelganger and vote for it as well. And so we'll come back once the game gets up and go. Okay, so here we go. It actually has 2 different countdowns, so it's kind of excessive, but the game has started, and you can configure all of the stuff that you see on your screen. You can configure when it refills, all that stuff, and then you're going to see when you open up the chest, it's auto-filled with a bunch of different things, and you can craft stuff and you can destroy stuff if you'd like. So that's pretty much it. We're going to have our trusty sidekick jump off in order to die. and then we'll be able to win, and you'll be able to see that first killer, second killer, third killer, all that stuff, last man standing, which is pretty slick. So once it's started, you can't drop anything, and it teleports everybody back to the lobby. Like I said, this plugin is pretty slick, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the config files. So you're going to see that there is a lot of config files, and they're all pretty straightforward. You have your basic, insane, and normal, and that's what people vote on. And then you have your normal config, and then you have menu config. You have your messages, so you can configure and color code all of the messages that you see. You got your shop, you got your signs config, and then trails. So let's go ahead and take a look through those. So cages, you have the different names in here, so you can add them. You can change the cost if you want in here. You can change the location. You can change the what the cage is actually made out of, and then we can open up the chest. So here's all the chest basics, and then this is the probability of that, and then the amount that will spawn with it. So 32 stone, but there's a 5% chance. I believe that's what that number is. There's actually not really any kind of descriptions on all of this, but I believe that's probably the probability, and then the item, and then the amount. So that's insane, chest normal, all of that stuff. Now we already looked at our config. Here you can change a lot of how stuff shows up. You can have this run your chat if you don't have something else running the chat, but you have to keep in mind that you got to change all of this stuff, although it actually looks like it's pretty good to go. There's no suffix in there. So then you can configure your menu for your games area list, and then here's your arenas, waiting, starting, and all that stuff. Here's your messages, which there's a lot of them, but you can configure whatever you want. And now you have your normal shop for cages, kits, and trails. You can add other stuff in here as well. Okay, so the way this all works is this is what is shown, and then this tells it where it goes. So you go inventory, and then colon, and then cages, and that pertains to the YML file, or you know, in the nature of kits, is going to be the kits folder there. And then null is for, it's going to show you how much. So you can't actually click on that. So let's go ahead and take a look at kits. So there's only one kit in there, and that's default. So if you want to make more than one kit, you're basically going to copy this YML file, paste it in there, and change the name of it, change all the names in here, and change what is included in the kit. So if you want to do some sort of enchantment, the enchantment's going to be the ID, you know, which is this, the amount, and then a data value, which probably is going to be 0. And then this enchantment actually has the name enchantment on it, which is why you saw those on there. But you can actually put the enchantment colon and then the level. So like dig speed colon 4 or whatever. So that's how that works for kits. Go back to the shop, and then we have trails. So we're going to open the trails YML. So then these are all the different trails that are in that menu, as you saw. So then you can actually configure what shows up on the signs and the color codes and words. So if you want to translate this to be your own language, you can do that as well, which is really pretty slick. Other than that, not a whole lot else to go. There's a lot of configuration, but it's pretty straightforward. Just keep in mind that inventory colon, and then that will pertain to a YML. So if you want to create a new one, you have to create a new YML, basically copy cages.yml, and then modify that to be your new menu. That's it. Let's jump back into the game and wrap it all up. All right, so hopefully you guys found that video helpful. Really all-inclusive Skywars plugin. There really was no errors. It's up to date. The author's active, so hopefully you guys found it helpful. This is Kaz reminding you guys all, enjoy the game. God bless.